of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. McBurnett, if we could have roll call, please.
Counselor Hickerson,
Here.
Hanson,
Here.
Vitolo,
Here.
Robinson,
Here.
Thompson,
Here.
Demas,
Here.
Pedri,
Here.
Zadi, Mayor Mickelson.
Here. Council, I would like to accept a nomination for someone to serve as president this evening.
I move Larry Hickerson.
Thank you. Is there
Second.
Thank you.
Under the
So,
bus.
it was a motion by Councilor Bartolo and seconded by Councilor Hanson. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, let the record note that Councilor Hickerson objects. And with that, we will move into our consent agenda. We have the approval of the City Council meeting minutes from November 7th, 2023. We have the appointment of Mark Rubich to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission. For officer and staff reports, we have the Health Insurance Fund recap from October 2023 and the financial report summary from October 2023. For council committee and board reports, we have the Rock Springs Historical Museum board meeting minutes of September 13th, 2023, and the Specific Purpose Tax Joint Powers Board meeting minutes of October 7th, 2023. Under correspondence, we have a statement from myself regarding accusations made against the City of Rock Springs police officer, and I'd like to hold that,
I
please.
was just getting ready to say that. Hold, please.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. With that, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? The motion carries, which brings us to my statement. Before I read through this, for the benefit of those who are watching, and I would like to say a couple of things. One, I would like to note that I've done some looking into this Newsbreak organization, and I am, in fact, a certified Newsbreak reporter now. Their code of ethics that you have to agree to in order to become a Newsbreak reporter prohibits you from writing articles that are not based in fact and that are meant to result in clicks. The gentleman who's writing these articles about our various law enforcement agencies has gained 85 followers since the beginning of all of this. The way Newsbreak works is once you have written 10 articles for them and you have had 100 interactions, they start paying you.
Oh.
And so all of this truth seeking that is being done really appears to me to be solely for the benefit of himself, to generate an income stream. And it is very sad, not only because law enforcement is rightly held to a higher standard. So when these allegations are made, we have to look into them, which is very expensive in terms of investigative resources, time, and to the morale of the police department and to our community. But in order to answer these charges and provide the public with the transparency that is owed to them, we are going to be releasing the body cam footage of this arrest, which unfortunately for two people who are residents of the city, one of the most difficult and embarrassing moments of their lives is now going to be public instead of between law enforcement and the courts. So this individual who is writing these things has not only harmed the city, but he has harmed the people who live in our city who are going through a very difficult time purely for a monetary benefit, which is so very different from what journalists do. And I certainly can say, and I think I'm safe speaking for the council, that if our police chief or myself or anyone on the council had any thought that there was something inappropriate happening, we would investigate it and handle it, and it would be dealt with according to the law. We don't need someone uncovering whatever he thinks he's doing to help us. He did reach out to me once. I was not in when he called, and he chose not to leave a message. So there has been no opportunity and I have not been able to find him through technology to reach out to him and say, hey man, why don't you come in and talk to me so we can understand what you're trying to do here? Because again, it speaks to the intent, which is self-enrichment, not bettering our community. So with that, public comments coming up. Recently, allegations were made regarding one of our police officers. Chief Harris Palmer investigated the claims and has shared his findings with me in my role as Chief Human Resources Officer for the City of Rock Springs. These allegations are factually baseless and unfounded. To serve the public interest, and I want to be very clear, Chief Harris Palmer made the decision to release the body cam recordings, which I've supported, allowing everyone to see the evidence I have seen. Baseless and unfounded, but costing time, resources, and morale to investigate. The Rock Springs Police Department considers this matter closed. I also consider it closed with respect to our officer, who has done nothing wrong, and is in fact the victim of writing that violates the Code of Conduct for submissions to the Newsbreak website, and as a little ad lib, as well as to moral and ethical conduct. I want to be crystal clear. Police live under a higher level of scrutiny than most, rightly so, given the authorities and responsibilities we entrust them with. Our officers hold themselves and each other to the highest standards as they serve our community. I would not, the council would not, Chief Harris Palmer would not, and our other officers would not tolerate ethical breaches by an officer of our city. The individual behind the scurrilous and unsubstantiated accusations has harmed the reputation of our officer, our police department, and our city, regardless of their intent. Legitimate journalists, which are so necessary to the function of our republic, are also harmed by this sort of yellow journalism. So with that, council, if any of you would like an opportunity to speak, I would open the floor.
Thanks, Your Honor. Well said. So I did have the opportunity to speak to my understanding is there's two reporters involved in this. One is located back east. He called my phone late last week. I can't remember exactly what day it was, and identified himself as an investigative reporter with DMV. And he told me this horrendous story of corruption at the Rock Springs PD. I've never heard of corruption at Rock Springs PD before. And I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek. He told me a story of what had been alleged, and it just didn't sit quite right. I told him I'd look into it, that I'd think on it for a little bit and figure out how I wanted to address the allegations. I ended up contacting Chief Harris Palmer, and we had a conversation about it. The allegations that the reporter told me over the phone had a little bit more detail than what had been reported. I hadn't seen the article. I had no knowledge of the incident that had taken place, and I told him I'd have to look into it before I could really even comment on it. The conversation that we had was basically about Rock Springs policy. I explained to him, full disclosure, I'm a retired police officer with the PD, and while I've been gone for about three and a half years now, I could tell him what the policies and procedures were at that particular time. And we went over that. And anyway, I read the article, saw that it was really more allegations and claims than any fact or anything. According to the original reporter, and I'm sorry, I can't even remember his name, the allegations came from a family member of the female that was involved in the arrest. It didn't even come initially from the female. And it went to a reporter or a correspondent reporter, is how we refer to him, that works in Wyoming and Utah. So after speaking to the chief and getting some of the details pertaining to the case, I sent a message back to the gentleman, and I said that the police reports are ready for him. He can view the video at any time. And that I think once he did so, that he would find that he owed Officer Sidaway an apology, as well as the police department in the city of Rock Springs. We had to agree to disagree on that. When I found out that this was going to be a topic on tonight's meeting, I sent him another text message saying, hey, council will be there, chief, the mayor. Any questions that you may have could probably be answered for you in a public forum. Come on down. And the message I got back was that the phone was no longer in use. So if that tells you anything, like you said, Mayor, it was basically for a bunch of clicks, and there's no fact about it. They don't realize that it's pretty easy for him if he is back east that he can stir the poo with a stick and doesn't have to smell it. And I just wanted to say to Officer Sidway, thank you for being here tonight. You show far more courage than the people making the allegations. I think that you have proven to your bosses, your co-workers, and the community that you are thoughtful and thorough and a good officer. And I'm sorry that you had to put up with this crap, but it's not journalism. That's all I've got, Your Honor.
Anyone else? Nope. Okay, so with that, as far as city policy regarding this particular situation, the last thing we want to do is to grow his audience. So we have addressed it, and we will be putting the body camera footage on the website for anybody who has the interest in seeing it. I can tell you, having watched it, it is not a super comfortable experience. And my first reaction when I watched it is I'm really glad I'm not a cop, because the patience and kindness that you need to deal with folks is outside of my skill set. So I very much appreciate the work of our officers, and we will just ignore rumor mongering now that we have shown how false it is and move forward. So with that, on to happier things. We have, before public comment, we've got presentations and proclamations. We have two this evening. The first is a proclamation for National Apprenticeship Week. National Apprenticeship Week is celebrating its 9th anniversary of raising awareness of the vital role registered apprentices provide in creating opportunities by allowing apprentices to earn while they learn and preparing a pathway to good quality jobs and well-paying careers in Rock Springs and across the nation. Registered apprenticeship programs enable employers to develop and train their future workforce while offering career seekers affordable paths to secure high-paying jobs. Rock Springs recognizes the role of registered apprenticeship in expanding opportunities in our workforce that are inclusive of individuals who have been historically underserved, marginalized, and adversely affected by persistent poverty and inequality. This provides a path for all qualified individuals, including women, youth, people of color, rural communities, justice-involved individuals, and individuals with disabilities to become apprentices and contribute to America's industries. Rock Springs recognizes that registered apprenticeship, a proven and industry-driven training model, is a key strategy to improving job quality and creating access to good-paying, family-sustaining jobs for all, starting with youth and young adults. At the same time, the program addresses some of our nation's pressing workforce challenges, including rebuilding our country's infrastructure, addressing critical supply chain demands, supporting a clean energy workforce, modernizing our cybersecurity response, and responding to care economy issues. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Max Mickelson, Mayor of the City of Rock Springs, do hereby declare the week of November 13th through the 19th of 2023 to be National Apprenticeship Week in the City of Rock Springs, and urge the community to help raise awareness of the importance of apprenticeships in order to create a skilled and qualified workforce in Rock Springs, and to visit the Rock Springs Workforce Center for more information about apprenticeships. Our next proclamation is for Small Business Saturday. The City of Rock Springs celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community. According to the U.S. Small Business Administration, there are 33 million small businesses in the United States. Small businesses represent 99.7% of firms with paid employees. Small businesses are responsible for 62.7% of net new jobs created since 1995, and small businesses employ 46.4% of the employees in the private sector in the United States. 68 cents of every dollar spent at a small business in the United States stays in the local economy, and every dollar spent at small businesses create an additional 48 cents in local business activity as a result of employees and local businesses purchasing local goods and services. 72% of consumers reported that Small Business Saturday 2022 made them want to shop and dine at small, independently owned retailers and restaurants all year long. The City of Rock Springs supports our local businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our communities. Advocacy groups, as well as public and private organizations across the country, have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Max Mickelson, Mayor of the City of Rock Springs, do hereby declare November 25th, 2023 to be Small Business Saturday in the City of Rock Springs, and urge the residents of our community and communities across the country to support small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday and to shop small throughout the year. Okay. And that brings us to petitions and public comment. If you'd like to address us, please step forward and give us your name.
Oh, thank you. Okay, just 1 minute. Get this down here. My name is Shirley Ann Sukali, and I want to start out, Max, with apologizing to you about this last meeting we had. When I said, I don't want to give my name. I didn't know, do I have to give my name? I was just teasing with you. I wanted to see what you would do when I said that. So I apologize for that. But anyway, real fast to Councilor Robinson, do you know how you get one of those reporters that are looking for money but want to make a name for themselves? What you do is you go out of town, which I've done before, go out of town and get a reporter to help you find that reporter. Believe me, it is. It's pretty cool how to do that. And there are good reporters out there. And Utah has some good reporters and that is willing to help. Okay. All right, I'm going to try to get through this really fast because I don't want you guys to miss your snacks. Okay. Okay, I've had a lot of snacks. Okay, my name is Shirley Ann Sukali. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. So there's some of you I don't know. I was born in Rock Springs, lived here most of my life, grew up in corruption. Corruption started when the day that this Rock Springs was made, on to 2022. 2022, can you believe that? And I know you don't believe me, but Councilor Zadi isn't here and he could verify it. I'm sorry that he's not here, to verify what I have to say, but we could catch him another time. Okay, I am here to represent a good part of the people of Rock Springs and for people that have passed on. You know how it said 9/11? Remember 9/11? Don't ever forget 9/11? Well, don't ever forget these three people and police dog, the K-9. Don't ever forget them, but you know what? People have forgot them. And so I'm also representing them. They are, of course, in heaven with their families and with God. Yes, I am a Christian. And they're happy, but they want to know why. They just want to know why. And so does the citizens of Rock Springs want to know why. Okay, I have some handouts. Is it okay? I've got some handouts for you, so you could kind of know where I'm coming from.
I'll take them and pass them down.
Okay, would you please? And then this one is for you.
Thank you. Oh, we have our names on them. Thank you. You're not in there.
I want those that I represent to know that I have interviewed Max. I've also interviewed the chief, S. Palmer. I hope I said that right. And I'll tell you what, I think we got a good city council, a great mayor. He comes from very many good people. And I think they're doing a good job, and I think they'll do a better job. Some of you I do not know, but I am profiling you because I don't know you. And what I have found out is you guys are pretty awesome. So you guys are doing a super job. But, there's always the but. But people want to know these answers. I represent, it's like when I say that there's corruption since 2022, people are afraid to come up and talk. They're afraid that they won't get their First Amendment, that they can say anything. That's why they've asked me to come up here, because I ain't afraid to talk. I've never been afraid to talk, and you can ask that to Mayor Como. Let me tell you. Anyway, these are the four that I am representing besides the citizens of Rock Springs. There are those in Rock Springs that could care less, those that are, I hate to say this, but good old boys that could care less, but I care. I care about these people, all of them. Okay, the first one, and I'm going to read just a little bit about him, and then we'll get on to the question and get it over with. On September the 2nd, 1885, 150 white miners in Rock Springs, Wyoming, brutally attacked their Chinese co-workers, killing 28, wounding 15, and driving 500, set their houses on fire. No indictments found. 22 white miners arrested, but never charged. Where was their rights? Where was their First Amendment? Okay, the pizza, now this is interesting. The pizza girl that went to deliver a pizza, and the young man shot her in the face with a gun out of the evidence room. That is really interesting, very interesting. Okay, and this one is to my heart. K-9 Officer Dutch, he was a great officer, he was a fantastic officer, was put in the kennel, the dog pound, to stay while that cop did his thing. I just couldn't believe it. How anybody that was working in this police department would let something like that happen. I heard many stories about it, but I asked the people that run the dog kennel. One was, it's because, they were going on vacation and nobody could get near him. He was really mean. The second one was told to me, he brings them down here because his dogs don't get along with him, so he just brings them down here. He picks them up, and then he does his duty. His duty was to find drugs with these drug people and his own drugs. He was caught. He was caught in the drug house, outside of the drug house, pictures, the whole thing. And he was a cop at that time. But Tim, the chief of police decided, and this is what Dennis Clayman told me, he decided he was doing some things he shouldn't be doing, so he made him a detective in narcotics with a police dog, Dutch. And when I went and they called me right away, I went to the dog pound. And I said, hey, I'm going to see that dog. And I went in there and I got down on my knees. And he was so vicious and he's just doing his, no, he wasn't. He was there with, so sad. And I could get my fingers in there and I could pet him and tell him that he was loved. Tell him that they, there's people out there that love him and he is a great officer. The only thing is, if I would have became mayor, I guarantee you I wouldn't have put the chief and him into jail. I would not. I'd stick him down in that dog pound and see how he'd like it. Sorry. I get emotional over this dog. There are no words to get over this dog and the abuse this dog had went through. Okay, and the last one. This last one is a heartbreaker too. Michael Angela Rosa. Patrolman Michael Rosa was shot and killed by the city director of safety after a heated argument at Kentrail. It was alleged that the suspect killed Patrolman Rosa to keep him from testifying to a grand jury about corruption in the department, police department, and sheriff's. He was charged with Patrolman Rosa, and that was Rosa, murdered but was acquitted at trial. Patrolman Rosa was a United States Marine Corps Vietnam veteran and had served with the Rock Springs Police Department for 8 months as an undercover narcotic officer. He was survived by his wife, 2 daughters, and son. And I can tell you this, that's a lie. He was murdered. My sister worked in the police department, but she worked as a in the dog pound. And then what she would do is, after that, because she really liked these police officers, the women, she would go on patrol with them. And she was great friends with Rosa's wife. And the police department or whoever, the great good old boys went into her house and tore her house apart, everything apart, to get an envelope full of evidence. Well, I'm sorry, I think of him. I think of his family. If you look at the reports of the FBI, the news reports, if you just take a minute out and you sit there and you read it, you will see murder. Total murder. And one more thing, and then I'll end this, is I lived in Pinedale when the trial was up there at the courthouse. When Spence and, what's his name? Anyway, the lawyers that were there from Rock Springs, I sat there and I watched people, jurors, over there just talking. Even a juror was on the telephone talking. And then it was time, and they went over and they sat down, and they were just like, doing their little thing and stuff. And you could see, you could smell, you could feel the corruption in that courthouse. And so that's why I think about these guys. Because what rights did they have? Why didn't they do anything? It's just like that gun that killed that was out of the evidence room. Well, he got some justice, but why didn't they go a little further? Where was that gun at? How did that gun get out of that, where it was at? To the evidence room. There's so much to this, and it's like, they got away. The good old boys got away with it. And it's time for them not to get away. It's time for the people, and the ones that I represent, the ones alive that I represent, says, it's time to fight the corruption. And we've been corrupted for a very long time, very long time. Now I'm going to finish this. The question. Okay, this question is for, well, you can all ask, but these questions are, they want to know from is Counselor Robinson and Counselor Jeannie Demas, because she's been in the Sheriff's Department many years, many wonderful years. Okay, and the Chief, Police Chief, S. Palmer? Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. And for our City Council, Beckwith. And what they want to know is, any time that when did you get hired on, Tim?
1991.
1991, and how about you, Jeannie?
August of 1983.
August of 1983. And Beckwith, when was you city attorney? I mean, when you was hired to be city attorney?
It's over there.
You're not Beckwith? Oh, I thought you were Beckwith.
Counselors, I was hired in 2005. Became the city attorney about 7 years ago.
Oh, you have changed. I'm sorry. Okay. So at any time, have any one of you, at the time that you was hired on till you retired, ever seen any corruption in this city, the police department, or the sheriff's department, at any time? Take a few minutes, please. Ponder this and take a few minutes and think about this.
Would you do me a favor and narrow down your definition of corruption? Because the term corruption is very broad.
Okay, well, corruption is stealing out of the evidence room, stealing out of the guns. Let's see. Breaking the law of helping these drug kids, or this one drug person, commit, how would you say it? Help them not get caught for being drugs. Getting the drugs in that. Is that not corruption? A police officer helping them? Is that not corruption? Or is that a little different or is that different?
No, I would say that probably would classify as corruption. In my time at the PD, between 91 and 2020, I never saw an officer assist anybody in getting drugs. I never saw...
I think that broke the law.
Okay, that broke the law?
Yeah.
Define the law. I mean, traffic
I know.
violations, sure. Absolutely, I've seen officer guilty as charged. I have probably exceeded the speed limit on more than one occasion, both in a police car and in my personal car. I've received tickets for it, as a matter of fact, while I was working as a police officer, and I paid those tickets, knowing that I'd screwed up. I have, as a supervisor, I investigated anytime an officer was accused of wrongdoing, whether that be a violation of policy, a traffic infraction, and when those events took place, the appropriate consequences were had, whether that be a letter of reprimand, maybe just a verbal reprimand, or maybe a letter up to the chief and let a chief decide where it would go from there. Were there any other questions? There was a lot to unpack there, and I may have missed something that you asked.
Did you miss anything? Did you get it all out? I mean, what you feel that...
Well, I'm sure that there were probably things that I missed. I wouldn't know about them if I missed them.
See, the difference is, it's like you officers, you were detective. You go out there and you investigate, do you not?
Yes.
And you go out there and you talk to people from the police department to the sheriff's department to the former of both, and for the citizens. It's not true.
I'm not sure what your question is there, Ms. O'Kaley.
See, I'm investigating corruption in Rock Springs ever since Como kicked me out so many times, and I caught him. I caught him using the city for his personal use, okay? And do you know Clayman? I'm sure you know Clayman.
I know Detective Clayman,
Dennis
yes.
Clayman twice tried to take down 2 people for corruption.
So when it comes to... Oh, thank you. Current personnel, we don't talk about them in open meetings.
Well, he's not here.
Okay.
And he's not here. He's
wanted
gone.
to make sure.
And he's retired. And no, I would not. No.
Yeah, because...
Tried to take 2 down. 2 of them. 2. And what did happen to him? The good old boys got him and said, hey, don't be doing that. And so how do you proceed in taking somebody that is breaking the law, that is as corrupted as corrupted could be? How, may I ask, do you take that person down?
And I think, surely, that everybody would agree that in our past, we've had issues. I can't tell you how many times I've traveled to meetings across the state, and the first question I get is like, hey, do you guys still have all those brothels? And I'm like, no. In fact, we just closed one. We take those things very seriously now. And so I think that there have been instances in the past when there has been issue, but that is not happening now. And everybody that I work with and that the council works with takes that very seriously, and we're aware of sort of the cloud that hangs over Rock Springs. And it's very frustrating because this is such an amazing place to live. And there's so many amazing people here. And I think it's important that we acknowledge, much like we're working on the Requiem Park to honor the Chinese who were massacred. So acknowledging our past and mistakes have been made is very important. It's a part of the growth process, but any of us, I would imagine, in this room, including our members of the press, would not hesitate to, pull the trigger and say, we saw something wrong.
Boy, that would be a miracle, because there was many that it was brought down, and yet the paper didn't do anything about it. Other papers did, because I've got all the articles, and I will make sure you get them. But one more really fast, now you're saying that. I was at a forum with Tim Como, Green, Brian Green, and when they were running for mayor, and we were sitting there, and this man from Casper got up, and this is the honest God truth, asked Tim. He got up and he said, I'm doing a little bit of work here in Rock Springs, but he said, I'm in the motel, but I would like to, I just wanted to hear, and I wanted to say something. He says, I think I better tell you that the people have told me, many people have told me, he said, you'd be surprised when you go to business, don't come to Rock Springs because it's so corrupted. Now, this is what was really cool. Como put his head down, and the other ones were like, duh. Why didn't they speak out? Why didn't Como, or any of them speak out and say, hey, no, that's, we have problems and stuff like that. And that was in the back in the 70s and 80s, Why does nobody speak up when people say like that? I mean, that was a good time to speak up and say about Rock Springs. I love Rock Springs. I was born and raised here. And there are many good people out there. That is true. And many that want to know. Many, with checking on these people of what they remember, what they see and stuff is so much different, But then that's the past. We're looking at the future. And I think we got a good future. I think that as so far, everything is looking pretty good of what I'm looking at. But there is nobody, and I don't care who you are, nobody's perfect.
Yep.
Sometimes we make mistakes, and it's always there for us to see those mistakes. Somebody's always going to say something. But I do like the police department. I do like our chief. I want these people to know that I think he thinks of the First Amendment. There's just a couple little titches that, it'd be nice that he'd think about. But I think we're going to have a good city in that. But let me tell you something, and this is a fact. If I find out that anybody is breaking the law or doing things that they shouldn't do, I'll be there. I'll be up here saying, hey, is this true? Did this happen? And then you guys have a chance to say, Shirley, you don't know what the hell you're talking about,
Well, I am a big fan. My grandma always used to tell us to tell the truth and shame the devil. And I am a big believer in that. Everyone makes mistakes, and the important thing to do is to hold yourself accountable and be held accountable.
Always,
and
yeah.
Yep. And you take whatever the punishment is, and then you move on with life. It's the great thing about America, right?
Right.
Yeah, we pay for our mistakes, and then we move forward as free citizens. But thank you very much for
But
coming
one
to speak
more,
to us.
Max, do you want to help the people here in Rock Springs?
Absolutely.
They may have the opportunity to say something about this officer. Just a little thing that people need to know because it's happening to them. It's not only happening to her, it's happening to them. Can I say something? Just real fast.
Let's be really careful, because
Okay,
if it's
I
personnel,
will be
we
careful.
can't.
Now, Chief, is it not true that this idiot got 2 pictures of her and put it on there? There's 2 pictures out there of her. Now, where did they get those pictures? Where'd they get the pictures?
Yeah,
On Facebook. They got it on Facebook. It was Facebook. They got it off. So that tells the people here, they've been warned so many times, get your children off that Facebook. Get your faces off that Facebook. Anybody could go on that Facebook and they could take anything from you. It's extremely easy. And I guarantee you they got more pictures than you can imagine.
Even worse, we've reached a place where they can take your face and use computers to generate you doing whatever they want. And so that is why even though it's really easy to swipe and scan, it's incredibly important that we consider the quality of the source and the evidence behind it. We can't trust what we see and read anymore unless we know that it is coming from a person or a group that is actually trying to do what's right and not just serve themselves. So with that, and I agree with you, that was an incredibly disgusting thing that he chose to do that very much violated our officers' privacy.
You better believe it.
Yeah, and was awful.
Believe it.
So-
But there's another thing that's going on that I found out, that they're taking, and this is back, was it California? Did I see that? Anyway, they're taking babies' pictures off your Facebook, and then they're taking it and they're showing it to all these pedophiles. And then the officer said that, hey, that's a lot of money, and they're bidding for these babies, and they're bidding for them, and then they go to try to kidnap them. That's the latest that's going on that I saw on the news. You know, I think Rock Springs better wake up to the fact that, hey, that freedom sounds freedom. It's out. You need to see that. You'd be stunned to see what can happen to our children. You'd be stunned.
Yeah, it's a very good film.
All right, I'm going to let you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to address us? Okay. With that, we'll close public comment and move on to bills and claims. The first being the bills and claims for November 21st of 2023. Council, do
Honor.
I have a motion?
Your Honor,
Council,
I
do you-
make a motion to approve the bills and claims for November 24th, 2023.
Thank you, Councilor Demas. Is there a
Oh,
second?
21, I'm sorry.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Okay, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstaining. Abstaining.
Okay, so the motion carries with Councilor Thompson and Councilor Pedri abstaining. That brings us to the salaries for November 7th of 2023. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Demas?
I make a motion to approve the salaries for November 7th, 2023.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hanson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining?
Abstaining. Abstaining.
Okay, the motion carries with Councilor Thompson and PG abstaining. That brings us to new business. The first item is a request from myself for approval of the employee Christmas bonuses. The proposal this year, and in my understanding is in the past, we've done everything from turkeys to $500 for full-time and $250 for part-time. As everyone is aware, sales and use tax is really up, which is awesome because it gives us an opportunity to backfill some of the reserve accounts that we were not able to do to set aside future infrastructure costs. But I do think it's important to recognize the work that our employees are doing, and sort of with the idea that when times are lean, we ask them to sacrifice, and we're in the middle of a good time. So our proposal, or my proposal, along with the budget committee, is that we do $250 for full-time folks and $125 for part-time, but the slight difference that this year we would include returning current seasonal and returning seasonal employees. So like our lifeguards who come back year after year would get that $125 come this summer if they return to us. So with that, is there a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Hickerson?
I have a question to ask. What is the overall cost of this bonus setup?
Millions.
Millions?
No, about 60,000.
Okay. I will move with that.
Your Honor, $63,750 is the cost.
Love you and your numbers.
Yeah, Matt had the numbers down. Okay, so we have a motion from Councilor Hickerson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Whoa. Matt, take your pick. And we had the full left wing. I think Councilor Pedri. So, yeah. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. That brings us to a request from Information Technology Department for approval of the city's social media policy. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Batola?
move to approve this request.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. Our final item of new business is a request from the Rock Springs Beautification Tree Board for permission to accept proposals for the City of Rock Springs wayfinding program. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Demas?
I make a motion to approve this request.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Thompson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. Which brings us to our resolutions for this evening, the first being Resolution 2023-157.
A resolution accepting and approving and enforcing underage drinking contract from the Wyoming Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police Association.
Thank you. Matt, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Hanson?
I move we approve Resolution 2023-156.
7.
7, sorry, yes.
We did 6 last time.
We'll go with 7.
That'll work. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Pedri. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. If Matt will lead us through. I always forget that part.
Counselor Hanson,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Demas,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. Bringing us forward to Resolution 2023-158.
A resolution accepting and approving a web services sales agreement with Revised Software Systems to provide a new website to the City of Rock Springs and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming to execute said agreement on behalf of said city.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Hickerson?
move to approve Resolution 2023-158.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Batolo. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Matt, if you will, please.
Counselor Batolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Demas,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. Bringing us to the most important item of business that the city will do this year, Resolution 2023-159.
A resolution accepting and approving a contract with Train US Inc. for the City of Rock Springs Family Rec Center Ice Chiller Replacement Project in the amount of $960,616 and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said contract on behalf of the City of Rock Springs.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Counselor Demas?
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-159.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Counselor Batolo. If anyone's curious about my comment, it's because both of my girls play hockey, and so I'm really invested in there being ice. But with that, is there any discussion?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
if you would real quick. Dave, can you tell us what the original budget for that was? Just to see if we're
Your
over or under for once.
Your Honor, Counselor Hickerson, this was one of the specific purpose tax projects that we estimated at $900,000.
It's in the ballpark.
And if you had a chance to take a look at my memo, there's about 3 opportunities for us to recover that overage. One being a discount for paying for a portion of the project up front. And we also will recover the R-22 that's in the existing system right now at the end of the season. And that has a potential to bring back about $30,000. And then we're working with Rocky Mountain Power on a lead rebate for a reduced energy system. So if all 3 of those come in, we should be under 900 when we get done.
Awesome, thank you.
It's good work.
Okay. Anyone else? Mr. McBurnett, if you will, please.
Counselor Robinson,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Demas,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. Which brings us to Resolution 2023-160.
A resolution accepting and approving a lease agreement with the Food Bank of Sweetwater County for the purpose of operating a food distribution program.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor,
Councilor Hickerson?
Move to approve resolution 2023-160.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Pedri. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, for all those who are out watching now or who might watch later, the food bank is seeing a tremendous uptick in need, and it is the holidays. So if you're so inclined and have the ability and you're out doing your Thanksgiving shopping or even just picking up some toothpaste and you want to grab an extra turkey to drop off down there, we've got 23,000 people in the city, and if 10% of them bought turkeys, it'd sure go a long way towards helping each other out. So, Matt, please.
Counselor Thompson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Patolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. That brings us to Resolution 2023-161.
A resolution accepting and approving an amended piggyback agreement with Image Trend LLC for record management services for the Rock Springs Fire Department and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said agreement on behalf of the city of Rock Springs.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor, move to approve 23-161.
Thank you, Councilor Batolo. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Hickerson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none.
Counselor Demus,
Yes.
Pedri,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Patolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. And that brings us to our final resolution of this evening, 2023-162.
A resolution accepting and approving an agreement to provide engineering and construction services from Forsgren Associates, Inc. for the 2024 miscellaneous utility project Phase 1 in the amount of $425,000 and authorizing Max Mickelson as mayor, Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said agreement on behalf of the city of Rock Springs.
Thank you. Council, do we have a motion?
Your Honor.
Councilor Hickerson?
Move to approve resolution 2023-162.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Matt, if you will, please.
Counselor Pedri, sorry.
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Patolo,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Mayor Mickelson.
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. This brings us to our final item of the evening, which is the second reading of a proposed ordinance change 2023-09.
An ordinance amending section 1403 of the ordinances of the city of Rock Springs entitled Vacancies, Manner of Filling Vacancies.
Council, do we have any?
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
If it'd be okay, I would like to move to amend the ordinance that says through an open ballot and then through open ballot process, add or voice vote, just in case we're out of here and the next council wants to operate a different way, they have two options.
Very good. Do we need a second and a vote?
Motion and second,
Okay. Do we have a second for Councilor Hickerson's motion?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. I can voice vote that one, right? I can voice vote it. Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, the amendment carries. Do we have any other commentary?
We still have another reading, don't we?
Yeah, we'll approve it or declare it next meeting.
Discussion on it before we get to the third reading. I would like to point out for everybody, December 5th is our next council meeting, and we'll be voting on the ordinance at that time. So if the public has any thoughts, this is their opportunity. And with that, happy Thanksgiving. We're adjourned.